Hello everyone, welcome to the course Structural Analysis 2. Myself Dr. Pritam Haith. Today I will start Unit 1, that is 3-hinged arch and 2-hinge arch. So let's get started. In the syllabus we have first elastic theory of arch, then we will study Eddy's theorem, then we will calculate the bending moment and shear force of 3-hinge arch, and then we will study the effect of temperature on the 3-hinge arch. Okay, then we will go for 2-hinge arch. Okay, what is the Castigliano theorem we will learn, what is the horizontal thrust and bending moment we will study, then we will go for the effect of temperature stress on 2-hinge arch, right. Next we will learn the determination of horizontal thrust and radial shear, then we will study rib shortening. So let's get started. An arch structure is a curved girder, okay, subjected to significant amount of horizontal thrust, and beam structure is a straight girder not subjected to horizontal thrust. This is the main difference between an arch structure and beam structure. Suppose you are designing a beam for the uniformly distributed load, that is W per unit run. Okay, so this will be W by 2, this will be WL by 2, WL by 2, WL by 2. So the bending moment at the mid span, we know this is x, the bending moment at mid span will be W L squared by 8, right. So the bending moment W L squared by 8 is occurring at the mid span of the beam, which is very large bending moment. In case of beam structure, the bending moment is proportional to span of the girder. Once you increase the span of the girder, the bending moment will be increasing with square of the span of the girder. So this is the disadvantage of a beam structure. As the span of the girder is increasing, the bending moment also will be increasing with the square of the span of the girder. If the bending moment will be increasing, the cross section of the beam you have to provide more. Okay, the cross section of the girder will be increasing. That makes the section uneconomical. What is the solution? To make it economical, we can construct an arch structure. How? Because as you can see that this is an arch structure. From both the support, from both the side, suppose this is A support and this is B support, from both the support it is getting extra force. Suppose it is a steel girder, or suppose it is a concrete girder or RCC girder, it is getting extra support at its both the end. Once you are applying the load, any load, either point load or distributed load, whatever you applying the load, this girder will try to spread, and this B support will reach here, and this A support will reach here. Okay, so due to the external load, the girder will deflect as the beam deflects. Okay, but the girder does not deflect because it is subjected to significant amount of horizontal thrust from both the side and they are rigid. horizontally they are rigid. As they are horizontally rigid, they cannot move either inward direction or outward direction, so they stuck in their original position. So then they cannot deflect, they cannot move, they cannot slip either in inward direction or outward direction. So this is the advantage of an arch structure. Whatever you put the load, either it is concentrated load or it is uniformly distributed load or it is combination of both the loads, it does not get deflected, or it gets deflected very negligible amount of deflection, which is negligible with compared to a beam structure, because in beam structure it does not have any support against the deflection, but here it have the support from both the side against its deflection. This is the advantage. So here the moment, the bending moment at any section will not be proportion to the square of the span, because the bending moment which is occurring in the arch is reducing due to the horizontal thrust, So in this way the arch section is an economical section with compared to a beam structure. Moreover, an arch structure is not a special structure because of its curve or parabolic geometry. An arch structure is not a special structure because of its circular or parabolic geometry. It is special due to its arch action. What is arch action? The arch action is related with the horizontal thrust, which is the most important in an arch structure. An arch structure with zero horizontal thrust will not be called an arch structure, right? This is an arch structure, but it has no horizontal thrust, so it is not at all an arch structure. To make it arch, the horizontal thrust must be significant so that it can resist the vertical deflection. This is called arch action. The horizontal thrust is trying to resist the vertical deflection and the supports is intact with its initial position. This phenomena, this action is called arch action. Then only it will be called an ideal arch, right? Now come to the definition. What is arch structure? An arch is defined as a curved girder having convexity upwards and supported at its ends. It has convex shape in the upward direction and to support at its end. Okay, the supports must effectively arrest displacement in the vertical and horizontal direction. Only then there will be an arch action. As I told you in the earlier slide, if the supports are unyielding condition and they intact with their initial position, whatever you are applying the load, any load system, maybe UDL, point load, combination of any UDL, point load, bearing load, whatever you apply, due to the horizontal thrust, the arch system does not get deflected and the supports does not move from their initial position. This is due to the significant amount of horizontal thrust. So we have different type of arch structure. One is fixed arch whose two supports are fixed. Next is two hinge arch whose two supports are hinge. Next is three hinge arch who has two hinge at the supports and one hinge at the crown. And next is tied arch whose two supports are hinge support and the supports are tied with a tie member. The supports of the tied arch is connected with a tie member, so the horizontal thrust is acting in this direction the tied arch has two support at its both the end, and the ends are connected with a tie member. Whatever it is subjected to horizontal thrust at both the end, this horizontal thrust will be counteracted to each other through this tie member. 3-hinge arch. What is 3-hinge arch? If an arch has 3 hinge, 2 hinge at the ends and 1 hinge at the crown, then this arch will be called 3-hinge arch. Similarly, okay. Now, what is the degree of indeterminacy of a 3-hinge arch? See here, a 3-hinge arch has 2 supports. These supports are hinge support, and 1 hinge is provided at the crown. Okay, so it has 3 hinge, 2 hinge at support, 2 hinge at support, and 1 hinge at crown. So we have to calculate the degree of indeterminacy, the static degree of indeterminacy. How we will calculate the static degree of indeterminacy? The first question is, what is static indeterminacy? The static indeterminacy means how many unknown forces are there in the structure. That means you have a simply supported beam. This is V1, this is V2. Okay, so if you are asked what is the degree of indeterminacy, so we have to calculate the unknown, number of unknown. What are the number of unknown? That is called degree of static indeterminacy. So you have number of unknown 2. One is V1, another is V2. So how will you solve this number of unknown? We have 3 number of equilibrium equation. We have 3 equations of equilibrium. Okay, so we have 3 equations of equilibrium and we have 2 unknown. So 3 minus 2, 1, which is greater than 0. That means it is obviously determinate structure. If the number of unknown is greater than number of equilibriums of equation, then it will be called indeterminate structure. Here the number of unknown is 2, which is less than number of equilibriums of equation. It is a determinate structure. In case of 3-hinge arch, so we have learned the static indeterminacy means the number of unknown. The number of unknown that we cannot calculate using the 3 numbers of equilibriums of equation, that is called static indeterminacy of the particular structure. Here we have 3 numbers of equilibriums of equation, and what are the number of unknown? One is VA is acting upward, another is VB also acting upward, another is HA, another is HB, right? So we have 4 number of unknowns and only 3 equations of equilibrium, but we have 1 extra hinge at this point. So at this point the moment will be 0. So we have sum of H equals to 0, sum of V equals to 0, sum of moment equals to 0. Suppose this is x and x, and at this point the moment is 0. So if this is C point, so MC will be 0. So we have 3 equations of equilibrium and 1 extra equations of equilibrium due to this extra hinge at the crown. So we have total 4 number of equations of equilibrium, and we have 4 unknowns, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 minus 4 equals to 0. So this is an determinate structure, right? Now come to 2-hinge arch. A 2-hinge arch have 2 hinge at both the end, then it is called 2-hinge arch. the name itself indicates that the arch which is supported by two hinges at both the end is called two hinge arch. Now what is the degree of indeterminacy of two hinge arch? We will calculate now. Here we have a typical figure of two hinge arch. One hinge is here, another hinge is here. So we have four numbers of unknown VA, VB, HA and HB, but we have only three equations of equilibrium. So the degree of indeterminacy equals to 4 minus 3 equals to 1. So two hinge arch is a indeterminate structure with degree of indeterminacy 1. Okay. In this way you can calculate the degree of indeterminacy of any beam, any column or any frame, portal frame or any kinds of complex system. So what is the use of arch? Okay, the arch structures are very strong against vertical deflection. They have two strong support at both the end. Okay, as I told you, the arch is subjected to always significant amount of horizontal thrust from both the side, so they are very strong against the vertical deflection. So the vertical deflection tends to 0. It is very negligible. Okay, due to the initial bending and horizontal thrust, they are susceptible to carry a huge amount of load without significant deflection. Okay, so an arch structure is always subjected to significant amount of horizontal thrust. Due to the significant amount of horizontal thrust, the vertical deflection tends to 0. This is the advantage of an arch structure, and we can construct the arch structure at the river, at the highway for transportation system. These are the books you can follow. These are the textbook and reference book you can follow in this semester for this particular subject. Now we will learn the Eddy's theorem. What the Eddy's theorem states? Let's start. Let's learn the Eddy's theorem. Eddy's theorem states that the bending moment at any section of an arch is proportional to the ordinate or the intercept between the given arch and linear arch. This principle is called Eddy's theorem. Okay. Now what is given arch and what is linear arch? Okay. Here you can consider this is an arch is called given arch or actual arch when it is like curve line. When it is like a curved line, this is called given arch or actual arch. It is subjected to horizontal thrust H at both the support, and vertical load is also working on this arch W1, W2, W3 at different point, and we will consider a cross section at a distance x. At a distance x, the ordinate is y. Okay, at this point we will calculate the bending moment. So according to Eddy's theorem, what we have learned, the bending moment at any cross section of an arch structure will be proportional to the difference of ordinate between given arch and actual arch. Okay, so here we have given arch whose the shape of the arch is curved shape. This is called actual arch or given arch. Okay, and the horizontal thrust is H at A support and B support. At this cross section we want to find out the moment. So due to this horizontal thrust, if you take the bending moment at this point, what we will have, this force into this distance. So this is H and this is Y. So H into Y will be the bending moment due to the horizontal thrust. Okay, free bending moment at any section X equals to horizontal thrust into vertical intercept. So this is horizontal thrust H into vertical intercept y. So the bending moment at any section will be horizontal thrust h into vertical intercept y. So the bending moment at any section will be h into y. Okay. Now come to the linear arch. Linear arch just similar, but the lines are straight line, then it is called linear arch. Okay. So now we will calculate the bending moment at the same position, at xy position. Here the distance is x, like previous slide this distance is same to this distance, that is x, but the ordinate has changed because the previous slide it is given arch or actual arch, the line was curved line, but here the line is straight line. So the ordinate will be obviously different. So this ordinate is, I am assuming, y dash, right? So what will be the bending moment at this position? This force into this distance, so this force is h and this distance is y dash, so h into y dash will be the bending moment at this cross section, right? Now we will calculate the difference of bending moment. What we have, based on the equation 1 and 2, the net bending moment at that cross section will be the bending moment given arch minus bending moment of linear arch. The bending moment of given arch we calculated h into y, and the bending moment of linear arch we calculated h into y dash. So the net bending moment will be h into y minus y dash. So this is called Eddy's theorem. That means the bending moment will be proportional to the bending moment of an arch structure at any cross section will be proportional to, or the bending moment at a cross section of an arch structure will be proportional to the difference between the ordinate of given arch and actual arch. So we can state that the bending moment is directly proportional to the difference between vertical intercept of given arch and linear arch. Okay. Now we will draw the load diagram. What is load diagram and what is the utility of this load diagram? See, this is a linear arch is subjected to horizontal thrust at both the end W1, W2, W3. Okay, vertical reaction VA, VB, and this length is L. Suppose this length is L. Okay. Now we will represent all the vertical force and horizontal force in a single diagram. What are the vertical force W1, W2, W3, VA, VB? We will draw here. What are the horizontal force H? We will draw here, and also we will draw this straight line, so that we will be able to calculate what are the tension is acting in this member. Okay. So let's draw the load diagram. First you draw an arbitrary vertical line. Okay. So I am drawing here an arbitrary vertical line. Then you cut W1, W2, W3. Say this is 10 kilonewton, this is 100 kilonewton, and this is 150 kilonewton. Okay. So I will cut from here with a suitable scale. This is 10 kilonewton, this is 100 kilonewton, this is 150 kilonewton. Okay. All the loads are acting vertical, so I have drawn the loads in vertical line. Okay. Now this W1, W2, W3 will be representing PQ, QR, RS. Okay. Now you have to draw VA and VB in the same vertical line. Suppose VA is coming 115. So this is 10, this is 100. So 115 will be like this. So in this position, this will be your VA, and this will be your VB. This is your 10 kilonewton, this is your 100 kilonewton, and this is your 150 kilonewton. Okay. So you have drawn W1, W2, W3 and VA, VB. this is VA, this is VB. Now you have to draw the horizontal thrust. See, horizontal thrust is working in horizontal plane, so you have to draw the horizontal thrust in horizontal plane. Suppose this horizontal thrust is coming 50, right? So you draw a 50 length here, so this is 50. Now you join all the lines. So what we get, this is 10, this is from here to here, this is 100, from here to here this is 10, this is 100, and from here to here this is 150. Okay, now just give a name, OP. OP is the horizontal thrust, A, B, C, this is P, this is C, this is D. So here OA is representing AC, and AC will be parallel to OA. CD will be parallel to OB. DE will be parallel to OC. This is C. This is not C. This is C. So DE will be parallel to OC, and EB will be parallel to OD. So in this diagram, and we have represent all the vertical reaction and horizontal reaction and external forces, so that we can calculate what are the tension is working, what are the tensile force is working in each member. We can calculate what are the required length of those member to construct an arch structure. We can calculate. So this is the advantage to draw a load diagram of an arch structure, right? Let's derive the horizontal thrust and bending moment of a 3-inch arch. Okay, so this is a 3-inch arch. Now please note that to simplify the calculation, we will assume that the bending moment at the hinge support, at the hinges, both supports and crown, is always 0. This is a hinge support, and this is also hinge provided at the crown of the 3-inch arch. So at this 3 point, the bending moment will be 0. Next, number of unknown will be equals to number of equilibriums of equation. Okay, so as this is a 3-inch arch, the number of unknown will be equal to number of equations of equilibrium. So 3-inch arch is a determinate structure and 2-inch arch is a indeterminate structure. Let's start the bending moment of the 3-inch arch. Okay, consider a 3-inch arch is drawn here. It consists of AC and BC. This is AC and this is BC. Hinge to each other, AC and BC hinge to each other at C. So AC member and BC member hinge to each other at C point. Okay, each of the part is hinged to a permanent support like an abutment at the lower end A and B. So these two arcs supports which is hinge. Always remember that this point is called crown of the arch. Okay, the peak point of the arch is called crown. Now the hinges is provided usually at the highest point of the central line of the arch. The highest point of the central line of the arch is called crown of the arch. Okay, and in case of 3-inch arch, the crown of the arch is a hinge point. Okay, at this point the bending moment will be 0, right? So if you consider an 3-inch arch like this, so it has 2 hinge at both the end and 1 hinge at the crown. So this is the length of the arch, this is hinge point, this is called crown, this is called crown of the arch. Okay, this is hinge support, this is also hinge support, right? And rise of the arch is the length between the lower support to the crown. At this condition, if you see an arch having 2 supports at different level. Okay, suppose this support is down with a distance and this is b distance. Okay, this is a 2 hinge arch or 3 hinge arch, whatever is this. If you see such kind of arch, so what will be the rise of the arch? The rise of the arch will be a plus b. That means the distance between lower support to the crown of the arch is called rise of the arch. Always rise of the arch will be measured the distance between the lower support and the crown. The vertical distance between lower support and the crown will be the rise of the arch. In case of the supports which are lie in the same level, in those case the rise of the arch will be simple. Just consider a support and measure the distance from support to the crown will be the rise of the arch. So here the rise of the arch will be this, h equals to a plus b. Clear? Now the tendency of the external loads is to cause an increase in the span length. Okay, these forces are trying to increase the span length of the arch, but the horizontal thrust is significant, so they cannot move from their initial position, right? So this is the advantage of an arch structure. So the horizontal thrust is significant, you can understand how much they are important, you can understand. Here the horizontal thrust is always trying to push this, in inward direction, and these loads are trying to push this outward direction, so the net displacement will be 0. So the supports will be unyielding and they will be intact in their actual position. So the vertical deflection will be tends to 0. The supports are at same level, we can calculate the support reaction, that is VA, VB and H. The support reaction is VA, VB and H. The vertical reaction is VA, VB and the horizontal reaction is H. Okay. So if the vertical loads, if the loads will be acting on the arch is perfectly vertical, then the horizontal thrust must be same for both the support. Okay. So if the load system applied on the arch is entirely vertical, the horizontal thrust H at both the support A and B must be same or must be equal. Okay. So if you see in future in any numerical problem, the vertical load is acting on the arch system is perfectly vertical, then you can consider that the horizontal thrust at both the support, that is support A and support B, will be equal. Okay. Now derivation of bending moment. In this arch we will take the bending moment about C on the left side of the C. Taking moment about C of the forces on the left side of C, we have here the bending moment will be 0. So if you take the bending moment about C point, we have VA into L by 2. This force is trying to rotate this arch in this direction, and this force is anti-clockwise, this force also anti-clockwise. So this will be in left side and this force will be in right side. So we have VA into L by 2 equals to H into this distance small h, H into H plus W into this distance. What is this distance? This is L by 2 and this is A. So this distance will be L by 2 minus A. So we have W1 into L by 2 minus A. So we have taken the bending moment about C on the left side of the C. Now we will take the bending moment about C on the right side of C. What we will have? Let's see. This is VB. This is VB into L by 2. So I have written here VB into L by 2 equals to, the remaining forces is opposite, so we have to write in right hand side. So H into small h W3 into this distance. What is this distance? This distance is nothing but L by 2 minus D. So we can write W3 into L by 2 minus D. Again another force is there, W2. So W2 into this distance. What is this distance? L by 2 minus D minus C. So we have plus W into L by 2 minus D minus C. So bending moment at any cross section will be VA. Suppose this cross section we are considering. So VA into X minus W into this distance. What is this distance? X minus A. So we have written here minus W1 into X minus A minus H into this ordinate, that is HO, that is Y. So capital H into Y. This force is trying to rotate in this direction. This force also trying to rotate in this direction, but this force is trying to rotate in this direction. So this is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. So this force, this moment will be equals to this moment plus this moment. Now if the structure had been a simply supported beam, the bending moment at a similar cross section X would be given M equals to, at any cross section X, if the structure is a simply supported structure, we will compare what the bending moment we can reduce if we construct an arch structure instead of beam structure. That we will calculate, that you can understand what amount of bending moment will be deducted if we construct an arch structure instead of a beam structure. Okay. So now at same length, same load, same cross section, we will calculate the bending moment of a simply supported beam. So we have VA into X minus W1 into X minus A. This is X, this is A. So this distance we have to calculate. So X minus A. So VA into X minus W1 into X minus A. So based on the above equation, the bending moment at the section X of the arch is given by Mx minus Mx equals to M minus Hy. How? Just see here, we have Mx equals to VA into X minus W1 X minus A minus Hy. Here we have M equals to VA X minus W1 into X minus A. So we can say that this is M, this is M, and this is Hy. Okay, based on the above equation, the bending moment at any cross section X of the arch is given by Mx equals to M minus Hy. Because if you consider at any cross section X, the bending moment will be the beam moment due to the external force and minus H into Y. So always, for in general case, if you consider the bending moment at any cross section of an arch structure, the bending moment Mx at cross section X will be the beam moment due to the external force minus the horizontal thrust component, that is horizontal thrust into the ordinate at that cross section. So A minus H into Y. Now let's take an example. Here the span of the arch is L, horizontal thrust H, and vertical reaction RA RV is subjected to W per unit run, uniformly distributed load W per unit run. We will calculate the bending moment at this cross section XY, right? The rise of the arch is H. So considering this 3 hinge arch, if we take the bending moment of the left side of C, we have RA into L by 2 minus H into H, this capital H into H. This force is trying to rotate this arch in this direction, but this horizontal thrust is trying to rotate this arch in this direction. So this will be negative. So minus H into H minus this load also trying to rotate this arch in this direction. So minus, what is this load? W per unit run. For L by 2 what will be the load? W into L by 2, and it is acting at CG distance, so W L by 2 into L by 4. So we have W L by 2 into L by 4 equals to 0. So we have RA into L by 2 equals to H into H plus W L square by 8. This is equation number 1. So we have calculated the bending moment at any cross section of the arch structure. Now we will calculate the bending moment with same span, same uniformly distributed load, the bending moment at any cross section X. So at any cross section X, we will calculate the bending moment. So we know RA plus RB equals to WL, and taking bending moment about any cross section, taking bending moment about B, we have RA into L minus the total load is how much? This is W into L is the total load, and CG will be acting in this point, so L by 2. So W L into L by 2, so W L square by 2. So RA into L minus W L square by 2 equals to 0. Because the bending moment at B is 0, it is simply supported beam. So bending moment will be 0 at B point. So RA equals to WL by 2. So we will put this RA value in this equation. So we have WL by 2 into L by 2. So we wrote here RA value we will put here. So RA value we will calculate. We have calculated WL by 2 into this L by 2 equals to H into H plus WL square by 8. So we have H equals to WL square by 8H. So this is the horizontal reaction of an arch structure. Okay.